Hey everyone! Welcome back to Feel English Podcast. Today we're talking about something simple, but also very difficult. How to love without fear. Love sounds easy in movies, but in real life, it can feel scary.
Yeah, totally. Sometimes people say, I'm fine, but inside they're thinking, what if I get hurt? And that fear makes them close their hearts. By the way, one useful phrase we'll talk about today is open up. It means to share your true feelings with someone.
Right. And before we jump in, if you enjoy practicing English with us, don't forget to like, subscribe, and share this podcast with a friend. It really helps more learners find us.
And we'd love to hear your thoughts. Have you ever loved someone but felt scared to show it? What happened? How did you feel?
All right, let's get started.
I used to think loving someone meant being strong all the time. But actually, love needs softness. It needs honesty. Another useful phrase is take a risk. It means doing something even when you feel afraid.
That's a good point. I remember a time when I liked someone, but I didn't tell him because I kept thinking, he won't like me back. I was protecting myself. I thought staying quiet was safer, but it actually made me feel lonely. That experience taught me something. Fear doesn't protect us. It just blocks connection.
Exactly. One more expression here is let someone in. It means allowing someone to be close to you emotionally. And many people struggle with that.
Loving without fear doesn't mean we never get hurt. It just means we choose connection over hiding. And for English learners, this topic is also a great way to practice words about emotions, simple, real-life words.
And loving without fear is not only about romance. It's also about friendships, family, even daily kindness. Like when you smile at a stranger or help someone even if you don't know how they'll react.
True. Love is in many small things, but fear is also there. The fear of rejection, of embarrassment, of losing control.
But the moment you say, it's okay, I'm human, something changes. You relax, you breathe, you give yourself permission to care.
And that's the heart of today's conversation. Love is not about perfection. It's about presence.
So Anna, in the last part, we touched on fear. But let's go deeper into why people build what I like to call emotional armor. It sounds strong, right? But really, it's just protection.
Yeah. Emotional armor basically means the walls we put around our hearts, and sometimes we don't even know we're doing it. One useful phrase here is put up walls. It means to stop people from getting close to you.
Exactly. People put up walls for many reasons. Maybe they were hurt before. Maybe someone broke a promise. Or maybe they grew up in a family where no one talked about feelings.
I can relate to that. When I was younger, I always pretended to be okay, even when I felt sad. It became a habit, and that habit followed me into adulthood. I thought showing emotion was too much, but later I realized honesty makes relationships stronger, not weaker.
It's funny how fear works. It tells us if you hide your feelings, you will be safe. But the truth is, hiding often creates more pain. Here's another expression, bottle up feelings. It means keeping emotions inside instead of talking about them.
And bottled up feelings don't disappear. They grow. And then one small thing can make you cry or get angry, and you don't even know why. It's just everything coming out at once.
Yeah, like shaking a soda bottle. You keep shaking, shaking, shaking. Then when you open it, everything explodes.
That's the perfect example. And I think many listeners can relate. Maybe someone once said something like, I don't want to get too close, or I don't want to depend on anyone. These are signs of emotional armor.
Another useful phrase is trust issues. It simply means having difficulty trusting others because of past experiences.
And trust issues don't make someone bad. They show that person has been hurt and is trying to protect themselves.
Let me share a short story. I once dated someone who never shared anything personal, not even simple things like what she wanted to eat or how her day was. I thought she didn't like me. But later, she told me she was scared I would judge her. She grew up hearing that she was too emotional, so she stopped sharing anything.
That's really sad, but also very human.
Yeah, and that moment taught me something important. Sometimes people are not cold, they're scared.
And when we understand that, we become kinder, more patient, more open.
And that's how the armor slowly starts to soften.
So now that we talked about emotional armor, let's move into something more hopeful: how to gently open your heart again. Not in a big, dramatic way, but in small, simple steps anyone can try.
Yeah, I really like the phrase, take it slow. It means you don't rush. You don't jump into deep emotions all at once. You move at a comfortable pace. And for many people who feel afraid of love, taking it slow is the key.
Absolutely. And opening your heart doesn't mean sharing your deepest secrets on day one. Sometimes it's something small, like telling a friend, I had a tough day. That's already opening up.
One more useful expression is baby steps. That means very small actions that help you move forward. For example, if someone is afraid to show love, a baby step could be sending a kind message or saying thank you, sincerely.
I remember when I was trying to become more open emotionally, my first step was learning to say, "Can we talk?" It sounds simple, but for me it was huge. It meant I trusted someone enough to start a real conversation.
That's actually a beautiful example, and it shows that opening your heart is not about big gestures. It's about everyday courage. Another helpful phrase is reach out. It means to contact someone, especially when you need support.
Right, reaching out can feel scary because it means admitting, I need someone. But needing someone is not a weakness, it's human.
You know, I had a friend who always acted strong. He never asked for help, never talked about feelings. But one day, he shared something small. He said, I'm nervous about my job. And that small sentence changed everything. After that, our friendship became more real, more honest.
That's a good example of how vulnerability creates connection. And vulnerability just means letting people see your real self, the good and the not so good parts.
Some people think vulnerability means crying or being dramatic. But sometimes it's just saying, I care about you, or that hurt my feelings. Simple, clear, human.
And when you practice these baby steps every day, your fear slowly becomes softer, like ice melting under the sun. You start to feel lighter, warmer, more alive.
Exactly. And once your heart opens even a little, love has space to enter. So, Anna, even when we start opening our hearts, love can still feel uncertain, not clear, not stable. And that uncertainty can wake up old fears again.
Yes, totally. Love is not a straight line. It goes up and down. Some days you feel close. Some days you feel confused. A useful expression here is mixed feelings. It means you feel happy and worried at the same time.
I think everyone listening has experienced mixed feelings in love. Like when you like someone, but you're not sure if they feel the same, or when someone says, I'm not ready, and you don't know what to do next.
I remember a moment like that. I liked someone who was very gentle and kind, but he was also scared of commitment. He wasn't sure what he wanted. I felt excited to be with him, but also anxious because everything felt unclear. That was my lesson in sitting with uncertainty.
That's another good phrase. Sit with it. It means to stay with your feelings instead of running away. When love feels uncertain, many people try to escape. They stop talking. They close their hearts again. But sometimes the best thing is to breathe and wait a little.
Yes, uncertainty teaches us patience, it teaches us courage, and it teaches us to trust ourselves. I think learners might find this phrase useful too. Go with the flow. It means to relax and let things happen naturally.
I used to push love too hard. If someone didn't answer my message quickly, I felt nervous. If they were quiet, I thought something was wrong. One day, a friend told me, Jake, you need to go with the flow. Not everything is a problem. That advice changed me.
That's so relatable. Many people expect love to always feel perfect, but real love has quiet moments, slow moments, and unclear moments.
Exactly. Another helpful expression is check in. It means to ask someone how they are feeling. When you feel uncertain, checking in with the other person can help. Something simple like, how are you feeling today? Or, is everything okay between us?
Yes, clear communication can turn confusion into connection, and uncertainty becomes easier when both people feel safe to talk.
A short story. I once dated someone who needed more time than I did. I thought she was losing interest, but when I checked in gently, she said, I like you, I just move slowly. That one conversation removed weeks of fear.
And that's the magic of love without fear. You learn to breathe through uncertainty instead of fighting it. Now that we've talked about uncertainty, let's go into something really important: communication. And not big, dramatic communication, but simple, gentle, honest communication. The kind that helps love grow instead of making fear stronger.
Yeah. A useful expression here is speak from the heart. It means to say what you truly feel without playing games or pretending. And honestly, many relationships would be healthier if people spoke from the heart more often.
I agree. But a lot of learners, and a lot of people in general, feel scared to express feelings directly. So let's share some simple English phrases that are honest, but not too heavy.
Sure. One good one is I feel. It sounds basic, but it's powerful. For example, saying, I feel happy when I talk to you. Or, I'm nervous sometimes because I care. It's clear, kind, and not too intense.
Another great phrase is, I need a little reassurance. It means you're asking for a bit of comfort. Not demanding, not blaming, just sharing a need.
Yeah, and one more. I want us to understand each other. This is a nice way to show that you care about the relationship, not about winning an argument.
Let me share a small story. I used to date someone who always shut down during arguments. He didn't shout or get angry, he just went silent. And I felt confused and alone. One day I said, when you go silent, I feel worried. Can we talk a little more, even slowly? After that, things changed. He didn't become perfect, but he tried, and that effort made me feel safe.
That's a beautiful example of speaking from the heart. It wasn't dramatic, it wasn't passive-aggressive, it was soft and honest.
And listeners, here's another useful phrase. It's okay to take your time. Saying this to someone you care about tells them, I'm here. You don't have to rush.
Communication is not about controlling someone. It's about creating a safe space, a space where love feels possible.
And when you use gentle, simple English to express your feelings, you also build confidence, both in your language and in yourself.
Exactly. Communication is like a bridge. When we use open, kind words, the bridge becomes stronger, and love can cross that bridge without fear. So, here we are, after talking about fear and openness, patience, and communication. And I think this brings us to the heart of today's topic, choosing love over fear. It sounds simple, but it's one of the hardest choices we make in life.
Yes, and choosing love doesn't mean ignoring danger or pretending everything is perfect. It just means you don't let fear control your life. A useful expression here is take a chance. It means to try something even if you don't know the result.
Right. And love always involves taking a chance. You don't know if someone will stay, you don't know how things will change, but you still choose to care. You choose to show up.
I think another helpful phrase is be present. It means to focus on the moment you are in, not on the what ifs. When you're present, fear becomes smaller because you're not living in the future, you're living in the now.
Let me share a short story. A few years ago, I met someone who was very warm, but also very nervous about relationships. She told me, "I'm afraid of being hurt again." And I said, "Me too." We didn't promise forever, we didn't rush, we just chose to be present. And because of that, the relationship grew naturally. Not perfectly, but beautifully.
That's powerful. For me, choosing love looked different. I had to learn how to give people the benefit of the doubt. It means believing someone has good intentions unless you know otherwise. Before, I always assumed people would leave, but when I started giving the benefit of the doubt, my relationships became more peaceful.
That's a great phrase for learners, too. And it shows something important. Love without fear is not one big decision, it's a series of small choices, small acts of courage.
Yes, like choosing to speak kindly even when you feel insecure, choosing to listen when someone is scared, choosing to be soft even when the world feels hard.
And maybe the most beautiful choice is this: choosing to believe you deserve love. Because many people push love away not because they don't care, but because they don't feel worthy.
That hits deep, and it's true. When you believe you deserve love, you move differently. You speak differently, you let people in more easily. Fear loses power.
And little by little, love becomes the stronger voice.
As we come to the end of today's episode, I feel really warm inside. Talking about love without fear reminds me that we're all learning. We all have moments of courage and moments of doubt, and that's okay.
Yeah, I think what I learned today is that love isn't something perfect people do, it's something human people do. People with pasts, with worries, with hopes. And when we choose to open our hearts even a little, life becomes softer.
If you're listening and you feel scared to love, remember, you're not alone. Fear is natural, but connection is natural too, and every small step you take makes a difference.
And thank you for practicing English with us through these deeper conversations. Real English isn't only grammar, it's emotions, honesty, and human stories.
Exactly. Thanks for listening, and remember, real English is about connection, not perfection. Take care, and we'll see you in the next episode.